Hello, everyone, and welcome back to AEC Today Reports. Happy Tuesday to all of you out there. We've missed you over the weekend. We hope it was a great one. Well, we have a wonderful lineup for you again today. We have some wonderful initiatives that are coming to us from the Columbia Union that we're going to share with you that we want all of AEC to get involved with. We're also going to talk about the importance of voting and registering for the census so that we truly understand the role we play in making sure certain things happen in our communities. And lastly, we have another youth spotlight. We're going to talk to another one of our young people and learn about them and some of the things that they're doing during this COVID time. So stay tuned for all of those things coming up after the break.
Hello, friends. Jackson M. Doggette Jr. here to remind you, be counted in the 2020 census. Make sure everyone in your church and in your sphere of influence is counted in the 2020 census. It will make a difference in your life.
All right, everyone, welcome back. And we're excited once again to have another special guest, one of our friends from the Columbia Union. We're going to invite him to join us at this time. His name is Ricardo Bacchus. How are you doing, Ricardo?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. How are things at the Union? You guys managing this whole COVID thing as best as possible?
Barely, but we are. It's been tough, can't sugarcoat anything, but it's we're making it through. We're able to we're partially open right now. Can come in 2 days a week. Some can work, if they are capable to work from home. We're able to do that. I have a 5-year-old, so that's difficult, but I'm managing. And I have my own study, and my wife has hers, and we try to get him involved with different VBSs and things like that.
There you go.
We're hanging in there.
Some great strategies. You have to do whatever you can to make it work. Well, I know that, from the union to the division to our local conferences, we're all trying to continue to be engaged with our constituents and continue to offer things that, get them involved. Now, one of the initiatives that the union is putting forth right now actually was launched before COVID, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so this was something that is in preparation for next year's theme. So first of all, tell us what the union's theme is for next year, and we'll go into our initiative.
Yeah, sure. So next year we're dubbing it the Year of the Bible. Of course, every year should be about the Bible, but this is specifically Year of the Bible, where we're doing different initiatives, study groups, ministry, podcasts, different things like that. But the biggest thing is a devotional book that we're compiling together, and we're getting Columbia Union members, leaders, pastors, students, kids, all members. We're including we're asking to write and submit short devotionals, and you have to answer just 2 questions in the devotional. What is your favorite Bible verse and why? And you have only, 300 words. 300 words may seem a lot, but it really isn't. You'll see that as you're writing, you're like, whoa, this has already gotten to 300, and I just started with the first paragraph. And that's because part of it is we include the Bible verse as the word count. So a cheat around it is to pick a verse, a long verse. But so basically what I've done to personalize it is I picked so short little story. Back in 2009, I had a surgery, and there's something that went terribly wrong, and I went into a coma. Okay, and after I praise the Lord, God, answered my parents' prayers, and I came out of the coma, and it was a miracle. But there was a long 3-month stay at the hospital, and it was like really challenging. So I prayed every day on Psalms 46:1. God is our refuge and strength, and ever-present help in trouble. So that's what I've written, me personally. A lot of people have written testimonies along those lines of how God has helped them, or how God is helping them right now through COVID and social justice or the injustice that we're going through. People have also used just different insights, reflections, Bible, sermons that they've used in the past, lessons learned, a turning point, anything like that, to get the message across of why this is their favorite Bible verse, and to inspire others as they read this devotional book next year.
I love it. And I know you guys kind of have a goal for each conference. And since we're dealing with Allegheny East right now, how many writers are we looking forward to from Allegheny East?
So we're looking for at least 30, okay? And we're halfway there.
Okay,
so
halfway there.
Yeah, we have 15 right now. So we're just looking for 15 more. Now, the deadline is July 31, but is anybody listening? Okay, you guys, I'm going to extend the deadline by 2 weeks, okay?
Oh, all right, August everybody.
15. That gives you a couple more weeks to work on this, but I need them by August 15. We have a wonderful editorial staff that we need it so we can start working on it. And you might say, I'm not a writer, or I only write Spanish. Hey, that's okay. We have a translator, and we're editors, so that's what we do. And we can always, if we have a question or something, we'll email you back, to understand your point better or anything. So yeah, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for anything that you think, okay, how can this inspire someone? How can this inspire me as I'm writing it? And know that this is going to go out to 64,000 homes.
Wow.
We have approximately 200,000 Columbia Union members. And this is also going to be something that is shareable to our community neighbors. And it's going to be it's a free resource for you. And it's also going to be online. So
awesome.
Pulling all this together. And we've almost met our deadline of, quota of 365, but we need Allegheny East and the other conferences to just give us about 15 more, and we'll meet that.
Oh, great. All right, Allegheny East, you heard the charge. Let's get out there and write. Now, give us the details again about writing. What do people need to do to submit their articles?
Okay, so the guidelines, basically, select a Bible verse, and that's the very first thing. The second one is express, what it means to you, how it speaks to your life. That's through a story, testimony, personal experience. Conclude your article, your devotional, with a sentence prayer of praise or petition. Check your word count, make sure it's around roughly 300 words. And then sign, a release form, and everything's online at columbiaunionvisitor.com, Year of the Bible, and get that back to us. Our email is yearofthebible@columbiaunion.net if you have any questions. And on the site, you can download the submission form, and we prefer this to be typed out and sent to us by Word document as opposed to snail mail. But if all you can do is mail it in, hey, we'll use that too, of course.
I was saying Year of the Bible at columbiaunion.net is where people can submit their articles. But of course, you want to check out the website for all of the submission guidelines. So thanks for that, Ricardo. I hope our people are listening, and we'll have that 15 writers from Allegheny East participate so we can meet our quota. Now, you guys are busy over there, and you have some other things going on. Tell us about the next initiative that the union is launching coming up in September.
Yeah, in September, we are hosting, it's called the Virtual Visitor 5K 1 mile, 5K or 1 mile. So you're thinking, virtual 5K? How does that even make sense? How do we do that? Well, you can run in place in your home. Because of COVID and everything, we've decided, not to gather and not to be together like that. So instead, from the comfort of your own home or neighborhood, we're providing these things. We're providing a mask a tech shirt, a really nice shirt,
okay,
a medal, a downloadable bib with your number on it. And this is all for $30 if you register for the 5K. The 1 mile race is only $15, but you'll receive these items too. And also, I think the most important part of this is you'll be donating to Adventist Community Services.
Oh, great.
That's, if you're not familiar with that, that's an outreach ministry by the North American Division. They help out with things such as COVID and supplies, PPE. Also, when there's hurricanes, they go out and help people. It's kind of like the ADRA of the North American Division.
Right.
So this is happening between September 20 and 26. So it's throughout the whole week. You have time to do that. It's not just a one-day thing. And why are we doing this? Two reasons. We've this year 2020, we've called it our Healthy Living Year. Yeah, so this is in continuation of that, and also in honor of the Visitor magazine turning 125, we're celebrating that anniversary. Yeah. So this is also something, to take part in, get your kids involved. We're gonna, again, have masks, some very nice masks with our logo. And for those who would like to sponsor us, that's another thing. We could put the shirt on the back, so if you have anyone, we can talk about that. And it's a long website, so maybe, I don't know if you can.
Yeah, let me put it up there again.
Yeah. Okay, so it's up there. Okay. So yeah, there it is. Runsignup.com, race, Maryland, Columbia.
Take a screenshot watching.
Yeah. But this is basically the second big initiative that we are doing here in the community.
I love it. I mean, and only $30, and you get all that great stuff, and you're helping a great cause, and you're staying healthy. Allegheny East, we have this tradition of being a conference that likes to move. That was kind of our health ministry's motto for a long time. Let's move. And so this is another way that we as a conference can move and be partners with our union at the same time. So everyone out there, go ahead and sign up today.
Start training today.
You guys want pictures and stuff, right? If I know what I think I know.
Yeah, definitely. We want pictures to tag us on Instagram or Facebook. We want to see you out there during those dates. And we want to get the word out. This is not just for Adventists. This is not just for the Columbia Union. We're inviting everybody in North America, and we'll ship you the items. Okay. So, but it is important that you register by,
that's a good question.
Do I even have that? August 31.
Okay.
After August 31, we can't guarantee that you'll receive all those supplies because we have the deadline that we need to
mail and everything.
To mail and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right, Union, getting us thinking and writing and then moving and staying active. We appreciate that. And so just to recap, one more time, we have Year of the Bible coming up next year. So there's devotional, call for submission for you to write about your favorite Bible verse. And the deadline has been extended.
Yes, August 15th. Allegheny East Conference members, it's for you.
That's right.
Extra days.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So writers or non-writers alike, figure out your favorite verse and submit something so we can meet. We have 15 more submissions we need from Allegheny East. We need yours among them. Yeah. And lastly,
one more little thing here. If your kids have nothing to do, there you go. That's one little homework assignment, summer project, something to do. Also, you can write more than one. I have some people that are writing 5. Because they have 5 favorite verses and they want to write and they've been inspired to. So don't limit yourself. Sky's the limit. All right. Yeah. The next one. Yeah. To recap is the 5.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. And don't forget to sign up for the 5K or 1 mile run/walk September the 20th through the 26th. And it's until August the 31st to sign up for that, right, Ricardo?
That's the deadline.
Uh-huh. All right, guys. Yeah. All right, so I hope they heard the call, Ricardo, and you'll see an influx of
I'm checking my inbox right now.
And submissions. But thank you for taking the time to come share this with us. And like I said, we hope Allegheny East will do what it does, rise to the occasion.
Amen. All right, thanks for having me.
No problem. Please get everyone my regards.
Will
and you guys continue to be safe. Okay?
Likewise.
All right. Thanks for joining us again. Sure. All right, we'll be right back after this break, so you please stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Kayla Kenlock, and I am now entering the 4th grade at George E. Peters Adventist School.
Hi, my name's Alina. I've been at G. Peters for 6 years.
Hi, my name is Nisa. I am from G. Peters, and I have been in G. Peters since I was in kindergarten.
Those 6 years have been amazing. At G. Peters, I get to participate in sports, STEM, ballet, and sing in the choir.
I like G. Peters because the teachers are kind and patient and make learning fun.
What I like about the teachers at G. Peters is that they're really fun and they're our second parent.
G. Peters is like a big family. We always support each other. The teachers are fun, but they help you learn.
What I liked about COVID-19 learning was that my teachers kept me motivated and focused.
What I liked about the online distance learning classes was that my teacher put work in a way so that I could understand it and have fun at the same time.
Most of my family graduated from G.E. Peters, like my cousins and my big brother Roman.
And that is why I love George E. Peters Adventist School.
G. Peters, they have the best students, the best teachers, and the best principals. So register your kids. See ya!
See you at G. Peters.
We are back and with another special guest. I'm going to bring him on at this time. You will recognize him. This is Attorney Jackson Doggette Jr. How are you doing, Attorney Doggette?
Fine, thank you. Glad to be here today.
Amen. Amen. We have a lot going on in this world right now. And one of the big things we're hearing about is social justice. It's everywhere. And, you know, with the death of John Lewis and C.T. Vivian, it's still at the forefront of so many people's minds. And I know that that's something that you're advocating for and our church is being more involved in. And so one of the things that you have had the opportunity to do is to actually testify regarding certain legislation in some of the local courts. Tell us about that. What's that process like, and what are some of the legislation that you've actually testified?
Well, I was able to work with a group of people who are advocating for 2 specific bills in the Maryland legislature. I was able to testify with regard to plant-based meals being available to people who are incarcerated. They don't have a choice on what they get to eat. And there are some for religious reasons that want plant-based meals, and then others for health reasons who want it. And if it's just for health reasons, they don't have the option to get that. So we were advocating for that particular bill. The second bill was to require that those who earn money from those who are incarcerated, those who have contracts with prisons, be required to interview returning citizens for those jobs, because many times they're trained in prison for the jobs that they're doing. And when they come out, they're ready to work. And with a record, they have a hard time finding work. So for me, another issue is we've got to remove all of these impediments for people who have paid their dues to society for whatever wrong they did, and then being forever penalized for the rest of their life because of a mistake they may have made in a foolish moment as they were juveniles.
Exactly.
So that's something else we'll be working on. But right now, the 2 legislations that we are trying to get passed are plant-based meals available for those who are incarcerated, and requiring those who earn money from prisoners to hire prisoners or returning prisoners when they come back to the community, at least interview them and put them in the pool of those who must be considered for those jobs.
Okay, great. Those are both two great initiatives. Now, what's that process like when you're in court and are there several people speaking for or against this legislation? How is it set up when you're doing
Right. It's actually not court. It's the legislature for the state. So there is a House, which is like the House in Congress, and then there's the Senate. And I testified before both of those bodies. There's a process for getting the bill in front of the committees, for getting the bill out for people to actually comment on. They must listen to anybody who wants to comment on those bills, so that it can go quite long. Then the Senate and the House will work together in committee to determine what the final bill will be, if it will be, and then to see if it will be signed by the governor. So it's a long process that has to be dealt with in a compressed time in 90 minutes when the legislature, not 90 minutes, I'm sorry, 90 days when the legislature is actually meeting. So it can be quite intense at times, but the committees or the bodies that are listening to you are very, they're courteous. Some people are for it, some people are against it. They can have intense questioning, or they won't ask any questions at all. So it's not bad, and anybody can actually participate. So we would encourage people who have that interest. We do a training. We just had a training. We'll do another training on how to get involved in getting legislation passed. And I think that's an area we need to get clearly involved in, because we just missed that opportunity. And a lot of other people in the community are involved in trying to get laws passed.
And that's great. I mean, I think people may not even realize that their voices will be considered. Some people think you have to be a lawyer, you have to be in the political sphere in order to get a spot to speak. But from what we're hearing,
no, you don't.
Yeah.
And if you're interested, contact my office. I'll be happy to get you in touch with the people that can put you where you would work the most comfortably and the best. We also did lobbying. We went to our state representatives and we lobbied for those bills. So that's process is simply going to their office on lobby day. Go to their office and sit down and talk with them. Tell them why you want this bill passed, what the benefit is to the community, who you represent. I'm happy to be able to say I represent a large group of Seventh-day Adventists who are interested in these kinds of laws. So they're interested, but you have to vote. If you're not a voter, nobody's listening to you. You have to vote.
That's a good point. So, so you heard the call. Here's his email address, jdoggette@aecsda.com. Reach out to him if you want him to put you in touch with some of your local representatives so you can be involved. All right. Now, one of the things we know that we've heard you talking about for several months now is this census, this 2020 census. And the sad part is that you continue to have to talk about it because so many still have not done it. Explain to us again why it's important. I think we all understand that we need numbers, but help us to understand it's not just a statistic, that what these numbers translate to for us practically.
Sure. So the census is to know where people are in the country, so resources get allocated based on the population. So when I say resources, let's begin with representation. How many senators, how many Congress people you have is based on how many people are in your area where you live. The library is getting funded. It's based on the people. How many people are there where you live? All kinds of resources are allocated based on where people live. And if we don't get counted, then those resources go other places to where people were counted. Now, one of the issues has to do with immigration. People who have immigration issues are concerned that if they participate in the census, they'll be deported. It is illegal for the census information to be used to find people who are in the country illegally. So those who are in the country illegally also need to be counted because they are actual people there and they need representation. They need streets to be fixed. They need resources because there are people there. It's just, you've got to be counted so you can get what people get because they simply happen to be in a community.
Right. So when we complain about how come we don't get this or how come we don't have that, a lot of it has to do with those in our area not completing the census and not having a true representation of who's there.
Right. One more issue is, for some reason, we have this idea that we shouldn't be entangling ourselves with what's going on in the community. Jesus himself said, "Occupy till I come."
Absolutely.
Joseph and Mary were where they were because of a census. They had to go get counted.
That's
so
right.
Jesus was born in Bethlehem because of the census. So it's not anti-God to be involved with the census. You've got to get counted because it does have an impact on your level or your lifestyle. It has an impact.
All right. You heard it here. No more excuses, people. You can still do it. You can do it online. It's very easy to do. It doesn't take much time. So if you haven't done it, please go ahead and complete the census. Thank you for reminding us of why it's so important. And lastly, we all know what's coming up in November. Some of us wish it would happen a little sooner if possible. We know the election is coming up, and we definitely want to encourage our members to vote. Of course, we want our churches to kind of be involved in helping encourage that. What are some ways, we're not gathering right now, but what are some ways that we can still help promote people registering to vote and then also voting?
Well, first of all, information for everybody in our conference is on our conference website under the Public Affairs Religious Liberty page. So you can find, there are links all over the place where you can find the information to register to vote, to find out what the bills are in your area, to find out who's running, what's their background. A lot of information is on our website. So I would recommend that there be a time when churches simply say, let's get together on Zoom and let's go to the website and see how to get on there to register and vote. And people can actually get on there and take care of it. It's important because there are deadlines.
Right.
There are requirements in different states for being able to register. There are requirements for being able to vote. I personally have asked for a mail-in ballot because I don't want to have to stand in line with a mask on my face and hope that I don't catch COVID.
Right.
So that's what I have done. But there are deadlines. You can't just decide the day of the election, I want to vote by mail. It's not the way it works. So early, we need to get on this thing of registering to vote, and then actually doing a little research to see what do people stand for. I'm going to say two things. There's the national election, and then there's your local election.
That's right.
You are more impacted every day by what happens in your community, who got elected in your community. The presidential election is vitally important. And I've been talking to some churches, and some people just choose to vote by party based on an ideal that is expressed but not lived. I'll be specific. Some people are saying I could never vote for a Democrat because Democrats believe in pro-choice. And we don't believe that people should get an abortion, so we're going to vote for whoever the Republican is, no matter how bad they are, no matter how much life gets messed up for everybody, such as putting children in cages and separating families. That's okay with us, but just so long as they say they agree with no abortion. And by the way, a lot of Republicans get abortions. But I'm not talking against a party. I want to be clear. Right. I'm simply saying you got to think deeper than what's written on paper. You got to look at what's actually going on and make some moral choices, not based on your personal ideal that doesn't exist, right? But based on what is actually being done. So I'm not advocating for anybody. I'm not pushing against anybody in this forum. I'm simply saying it is vital because your life is affected.
That's right.
By who your prosecutor is. You want to talk about Black Lives Matter, and then you let any old prosecutor get elected who will not prosecute police. And then you complain and get out there and march. Your march doesn't matter if you haven't done anything to change the policy.
Wow.
I'm going to say that one again. Because we get all hyped up to go out in the streets. Let's go to the streets. Your march, all you did was take a walk if nothing happens after the march.
Right.
Let's be clear about that. And one thing you can do is affect who makes those decisions by voting.
That's right. Very important. So, educate yourself. Don't make blanket votes. Find out who you're voting for and what they stand for, so you know what to expect when the time comes. Like, great examples.
May I make one more statement?
Sure.
Some people believe that if you vote for somebody and they do something wrong, you're responsible. I don't know what, I know they're reading some Ellen White quotes and misunderstanding her point, because they say if you vote for somebody and they do wrong, you're responsible, so you shouldn't vote. No. That's like saying I have children who do wrong and therefore I must be punished for it. Everybody must answer for their own
Exactly.
act. But you do the best you can. Sometimes you have to make a choice between bad and worse. Sometimes you do. But what do you want? The bad or the worse? It affects.
You're laying it out. You're laying it out there. It's true. It's so true. But the important thing is to vote and to have your voice and to, not just sit back and complain, but do what you can within your power to enact real change in your community. Thank you for reminding us of that. I think we forget that sometimes. All right, guys, we've been challenged here. We need to make sure we do the census. We need to make sure we register to vote and do it in a timely fashion, so we're not finding ourselves at the last minute being crippled by what we failed to do in enough time. And Attorney Doggette mentioned the website. Visit aec.org/Parl. All the information you need to find out for your state on how to register, the deadlines and mail-in ballots and all of that can be found there. So make sure you check out the website. Thank you for that wealth of knowledge you shared with us, the education we received. We've been challenged, everybody. I hope we rise to the call. Thank you so much, Attorney Doggette, for what
you're welcome.
All right. And please stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break. Okay, everyone, we are back. We thank you for staying tuned into AEC Today Reports. And as we've been doing for the last couple of episodes, we are highlighting some of our young people within our territory, checking in on them and see what they're doing during COVID and learning a little bit more about them in general. And so today I want to introduce another young person. Her name is Araba. How are you, Araba?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Great, great. Thank you for joining us. You look beautiful this evening. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you, Araba. First of all, what church do you attend in Allegheny East?
So I attend Metropolitan SDA in Maryland.
Okay, awesome. And what are some of the things that you enjoy doing? What are some of your hobbies? What are you engaged in currently?
Yeah, so I'm actually involved in a couple of things. So I attend Howard University. I'm in the PhD program there for African Studies. But in my free time, I also work with the Black Women Networking Foundation. And I've also just joined the Academy for Research for African Women. So I do a lot of research and writing for a couple of organizations that help to kind of like advance the lives of Black women. And I recently just got into podcasting as well, so I'm excited for that.
Awesome.
A few of the topics that will be discussed is things kind of plaguing the Black community, specifically Black women. So,
Okay, you really seem passionate about this cause. Where does this passion come from? What kind of inspired you to study this and be involved in so many things that empower Black women?
So interestingly enough, I was on track to go to law school. I got my bachelor's in political science and I wanted to go to law school, but around this time, a lot of things were happening as far as Black people being killed by police and facing issues as far as police brutality and, of course, the usual racist systematic oppression that we have always faced. And so, you know, around the time I think like Trayvon Martin and Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, these stories are pretty prevalent in the media. And so I kind of had, I've always had a passion for history. And so I've always also been passionate for helping Black people. And so I decided to then get my master's in Africana Studies because I wanted to teach. I wanted to become a professor and teach Black history. And so that's kind of how I got into all of this.
Wow, that's great. That's really awesome. I love that path. And so when you're done with your studies, what do you hope to be able to do in the future, career-wise?
Yeah, I do hope to go into academia, if not, definitely advocacy. But I love the feeling of being in the classroom and connecting with students and also teaching students about their history and where they've come from. I think that's extremely important.
Awesome. Thank you. That's great. Great. Now, I know we're not able to do ministry as we typically have done it in our churches right now, but what are some of the things that you find yourself involved in with your church, even during this kind of COVID environment that we're in?
Yeah, so I'm currently a part of a youth and young adult group, and it's called Flow. And so every weekend, every Sabbath, actually, we host a show. It's entitled Flow Presents, and we talk about a range of things. So far, we've talked about dating, we've talked about colorism, we've talked about social justice. And so I have been blessed to facilitate some of these conversations. And so we kind of wanted to create and provide a platform for young people to discuss things that they're not necessarily comfortable with discussing in church per se. And so we do have quite a great viewership, and most of them are, you know, young teens and young adults, and they just kind of want to talk about anything. So it's been pretty cool.
That's great. I mean, I think it's important to provide platforms for our young people to express themselves. Even now, you know, a lot of what we see being discussed, we see adults, we see church leaders talking about it. And so that's one of the reasons why we, through AEC Today Reports, want to feature a special youth panel discussing some of these topics. And so Araba is going to be helping us with that and help facilitate some of the discussions about things that are happening right now and how it's impacting our youth and our conference. So we want to thank you in advance for helping us with that. So we're talking about COVID, and everyone has their own coping mechanisms and things that they do to remain sane and try to create as much normalcy as possible. What are some of the ways that you've kind of been adapting to this quarantining and you know, staying inside mostly? How are you keeping yourself engaged still?
Yeah, so I could say that it was not easy adjusting to having to stay in the house and not be able to go to school and go to work and do, you know, many of the things that we've taken for granted. And so along the way, we lost that ability to connect with others. And so I'm just trying to find ways to stay connected with people, whether that's participating in outreach initiatives where I'm going out into the community, or just simply hanging with friends, to be honest. I can't tell you how many relationships that I have had strengthened as well just because we had no other choice but to sit down and do things like this. We're connecting via the web. So
yeah, so you're finding the ways to take advantage of the opportunities that may not have been afforded you had we been going about our daily tasks. So that's great. You're looking at the bright side of things. Now, before we wrap up, Araba, tell us what's something that's unique about you when you think about yourself and your interests and who you are as a person. What would you say makes you unique?
Interesting. You don't get asked that question too often. But I think what makes me unique is that not only am I passionate about Black studies and making sure that we as Black people are equipped with the resources and tools that we need to advance in today's society that almost strives to disenfranchise us, but I am active in creating platforms that will help to not only facilitate discussions, but put into work some action items as to how we can work against some of these things that have oppressed us. And so whether that's me creating a podcast or working for Black organizations that directly work with disenfranchised communities, I think, me personally, I don't only talk about empowering us, but I'm actually doing the work to do so.
Amen. You're leading the way, and we need more people like yourself who are doing just that. So congratulations to you. Awesome. Awesome. And like I said before, Araba is going to be one of our moderators panel discussion coming up, and we're going to give you more details about that going forward on the show. But thank you, Araba. This has been great to kind of get to know you and a little bit about you. You're doing great things, and we know that the Lord is going to continue to bless your ministry. Thanks for taking the time to share with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, great. And please stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break. All right, everyone, that wraps up tonight's episode. We're so happy that you tuned in. We're so grateful to all of our guests who joined us. Make sure you write those devotionals for the Columbia Union. Make sure you participate in the 5K walk, and make sure that you vote and that you fill out the census. These are important things that were talked about today, and it's not just talk. We want to see some action from our AEC constituents. And also, of course, we want to thank our young people for being involved in this broadcast. We have more young people we want to spotlight, and they'll be coming to you in the form of a panel discussion as well, where our young people are talking about some of the issues that we're dealing with in our country. So stay tuned for some announcements about that. Also, in the month of August, AEC Today Reports will kind of have a little bit of a hiatus because we have the Delaware Valley Ministerium who's planning a 4-week evangelistic series. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in Thursday's episode, so stay tuned. But for now, we thank you for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful evening, and check out some of the other things that are coming up this week and beyond. We'll see you next time. Remember, the more you watch, the more you know. Take care.